Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Dead Meat, the kill count for the 2023 movie Influencer. Honestly, I have never heard about it, and I have no idea what it is even about. But but Dead Meat is covering it. Sorry about that, James. So let's hop in and see what James A. Janice has to say. Let's go! Alright,
Welcome
James
to the
A.
Kill
Janice.
Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Influencer, which had its wide release on Shudder in 2023. As its name suggests, Influencer is the latest horror film that follows a social media influencer. This burgeoning subgenre often focuses on characters desperately seeking followers and fame. It goes back at least to Tragedy Girls in 2017, and elements of it are present in the now very prescient Scream 4 in 2011. But man, it's been blown up lately. And to be honest, a lot of these movies fucking rip. Influencer is no exception, and may even be my favorite among the crowd. It follows a travel influencer whose life isn't quite as luxurious as advertised. While on vacation in Thailand, she befriends a woman who avoids social media, and who changes her life and career forever. Influencer is a psychological thriller that's more in line with something like Gone Girl than what you might consider a typical horror film. It's smart and stylish as hell, with beautiful settings and a soundtrack so bumpin', I play a bunch of its tracks at parties. The acting is top notch.
Okay, so the blonde girl is the main character. I was thinking that girl that has the weird stuff on her face was the actual main character. I don't know what it is. I don't want to call it a bone. I don't want to call it a birthmark. Stuff I know is vague enough to where you can get by without offending by accident.
And the story constantly surprises you with twists. There are so many moments where I was like, okay, what the fuck happens now? It's definitely a movie I recommend you watch unspoiled to fully enjoy the ride. It's fun and cool, kind of like Upgrade. And just like that movie, more people should see and talk about it. Some people would kill to be influencers. Let's see,
What's going on here?
Writer Tim, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just getting some content for my feed. Ignore me.
Tim, are you trying to be an influencer?
Okay.
That doesn't seem like you at all.
Well, I want to travel more, and I gotta make money somehow.
But I pay you. And Tim, you don't need to warp and commodify your very being in order to travel. You just need better money management with the help of today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Well, Tim and you, the audience, can get the tools to achieve financial freedom for free by going to rocketmoney.com/killcount. Some people would kill to be insta-famous. Let's see how many bodies it takes to get there. The movie begins down by the beach, boy! This is a mysterious foreshadowing shot that gives you a glimpse of something yet to come. It's also a nice way to show off this movie's cinematography. Get ready to see lots of gorgeous wide shots.
I think a few movies have actually done like that kind of thing with the whole, yep, this is where the story ends. How did we get here? We're going to need to go back. But I can't actually think of any.
Madison is an influencer traveling in Thailand with her phone. She loves to preach how eye-opening it is.
The world is a book, and if you don't travel, you've only read one page. Why limit yourself?
Though she talks about how it brings her peace, in reality, she's just here making content. Every moment captured with the phone in her hand. Great narration by actress Emily Tennant, probably because she's done a ton of voice work, including Polly Pocket for like 6 years. She also had a tiny role in Jennifer's Body when she was 17.
I heard Needy and Jennifer were there, and they had to fight their way out with a machete.
The voiceover is set to the coolest fucking song, Skeleton by Dan Canvas. I love it! But Madison's life ain't as cool as that song. It may get her likes, but she doesn't like it, you know? A British guy starts chatting her up at the bar, and I guess he's drunk enough to take a shot.
But look, if you're here all on your own, why don't I show you around a bit?
Come on, man, get a hint.
His clumsy attempt is intercepted by a stranger named CW. Madison saw her at the pool earlier. She's another solo traveler. CW asks why Maddie is looking like such a grumpy pants. When she laments how her trip has been lonely content farming, CW takes her out for a real experience at the crack of dawn. Aw, it's looking like the Aries music video. Don't they make the cutest 2D in Murdoch? They catch sunrise from the mountaintop and it takes Maddie's breath away. But she recovers by the time she hits record.
You guys won't believe how beautiful it is up here. If you aren't on an early morning hike, you are missing out.
CW shies away from the phone and says she doesn't like being on camera. She does offer to take Maddie's picture though, like, a real one.
How does it look?
A cute friendship blossoms
Gotta get it
quickly as CW breaks Maddie out of her shell. They even pick up a couple of guys. Maybe that'll help distract Maddie from her boyfriend problems. She's got one who bailed on this trip at the last minute. Yeah, dude, good call on that one. Who'd want to go to, like, fucking Thailand, right? They get back to their resort, and Maddie finds the door to her place broken open. Someone's made a mess of it. She's probably gonna have to pay a cleaning fee. That's terrible! Oh, also, they stole her passport. That's probably a problem. She can't get a new one for 2 weeks, so she's stuck in the country until then. She video calls her boyfriend Ryan to let him know. He doesn't take it very well.
You have a shoot on Monday.
I'm not doing this on purpose.
Turns out he's kind of her manager too. One of those. Like, very much one of those.
I'm just trying to understand how.
First rule of anything, never date your manager / clients. We're trying to allow people. Come on.
Don't let this happen.
I don't understand why you're getting upset. I'm trying to help.
She breaks up with him, although he doesn't accept it. Damn, Ryan, why you gotta be one of those? Since Maddie's got 2 more weeks of Thailand content to fill, she's off on more adventures with CW. I know a bunch of this movie so far is just good shots set to cool music, but hey, I freaking love that vibe. These locations are beautiful. I love when films double as cinematic tourism. It's why so many James Bond movies rule. Influencer was originally scripted with a lot more crowds and tourism, but because of the COVID pandemic, their shooting locations were practically barren. This worked out for director Curtis David Harder, who also directed Spiral. Not the Saw one, the other one. He and co-writer Tesh Gudakanda embraced the feeling of isolation and loneliness. It built off their initial idea of how people visit exotic places only to do everyday things.
Tesh and I kind of always made the joke about how often people will travel kind of all the way around the world and then go eat at McDonald's.
Maddie agrees to stay at CW's, a glass cage in the middle of the jungle. Great location, great food, great books. Wait, was her name CW or BW? The next morning, CW takes her out in a rickety-ass boat hauled a damn way across the sea. Wow, they're just cruising into the ocean. They land at a small island that appears to be completely barren, save for some tick marks scratched into a log. Double. Naturally, there's no cell network, which CW says should be a nice break. They stay until dark, and Maddie really opens up. CW is honest with her in return.
No, I'm not gonna kill you.
Oh, thanks. But CW does say she's going to leave Madison there.
First you'll wake up alone. You'll realize I'm gone. You'll check your phone, but it's useless out here, so that won't help.
She calmly explains how screwed Maddie will be, with no food or water on the island. It's a great monologue that ends with her targeting Maddie's biggest fear, that she'll wind up unknown and forgotten by the world.
Like all the other girls, no one's gonna come looking for you.
Why are you doing this?
You'll cease to exist.
Maddie laughs it off as a joke and woo girls her way around the fire. She parties all night right into a holy shit opening credits. Wow, we're freaking 26 minutes in. You really are a super chill film. Love me a late in the game title card. Over Bullet by Elephants, another standout song, the movie properly kicks off as CW kicks off from shore. She leaves Maddie behind, still sleeping like a log.
Hey, technically she kept a log.
Right next to a log. 3 weeks later, we hear Maddie's voice narrating new posts to her followers. She says that she's decided to stay in Thailand.
If you let it, life can be one surprise after another. You just have to let go of your expectations.
But it's not really Maddie saying these things. It's the work of the perpetually swimming CW. She's now living under Madison's name and bank accounts in a luxury home in Bangkok. That place in the jungle probably belonged to Becky Wilson, presumably an earlier victim of this shtick. To keep up appearances, CW has been running Maddie's account just as well as Maddie did. She churns out interesting content and espouses a pretty ironic philosophy.
Being authentic is...
And what about the weird mark on your face like that? Like, people would not question it. She probably came up with some kind of excuse saying she was accidentally burned on the face or some shit while taking care of her hair.
the most important thing you can do to make a better world.
It's all as simple as using Photoshop and a whole bunch of other stuff I don't know shit about. All I know is that she's able to skip enough nail units to create full-fledged deepfakes of Maddie. And not just in video form either. Using AI or something, she's got a text-to-voice thing that sounds like Madison too. And you know what? Nowadays, that's entirely believable. We're a long way from Scream 3 in 2000. CW posts as Madison and says she's taking an indefinite break from social media. Madison is going off-grid, and if CW's right, no one will ever care enough to look for her. With that job done, CW gets back to the lonely lifestyle that sustains her until she finds another mark. She searches for one on Instagram using the Bangkok tag. Ah yes, another pretty white lady traveling by herself. She should do nicely indeed. I love this shift in focus to a new character in the second act, and how it's accompanied by a shift in the setting and style. Director Harder changes things up from expansive nature shots to more bustling and tighter focused frames within the crowded city. CW stalks down her target, Jessica Teagan, and tries to connect with her, but unlike Madison, Jess brushes her off. A change in tactics requires research, so after some snooping, she tries a second attempt.
Yesterday, I realized why I totally know who you are. It's because I follow you, and I'm such a huge fan, and I felt like an idiot.
I love seeing this entirely different persona from CW. Instead of the cool chick girlfriend tact she used with Maddie, she becomes a babbling, naive superfan for Jess. It's awesome to see it work.
Boy.
You follow me?
And boy does it work. This was a last-minute decision for the character that they came up with during production. Because of COVID, Influencer's crew was only about a dozen people, allowing them increased flexibility and access to cool locations. The initial delay in production also allowed them to strengthen the script and flesh out the characters.
It evolved a lot in terms of who we followed when and kind of how we do those kind of little switch ups.
CW feigns being a new and inexperienced traveler, gaining Jessica's, well, maybe not friendship, but at the very least, pity. Then she pulls the same trick she did with Madison and breaks into Jessica's room while she's gone, messing it up and stealing her passport. She calmly sits outside when she sees Jessica get back, and waits patiently for the phone call that'll give her an in.
Jessica.
They take a big old boat back to that place CW has under Maddie's name, only to find there's already somebody else there. Somebody who hates roses. It's Ryan, Madison's ex-boyfriend. Or boyfriend.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Maybe you're not a piece of shit.
According to him. He found this place by tracking Maddie's purchases, since it turns out he's the source of her income. CW tells him Madison is letting her stay there, and that she doesn't want to see him. He says he'll wait to talk to her himself. He retires for the night in one of the rooms he's paying for. The next morning, he gets a call from Maddie, who tells him to leave her alone while sounding like a beta version Megan.
I changed plans. You need to leave.
Damn, CW, you gotta type better than your shows are in. Come on. Ryan refuses to accept faux Maddie's words and opts to stay there and wait to talk to her in person. To pass the time, the three of them take a triple date to the beach. While separated from CW, Ryan starts to question who the hell she is.
So what's our deal?
Ryan and Jessica start comparing notes, and she finds out Madison's room was broken into just like hers. It's fun to watch another shade of CW's character as she starts to stumble. She is visibly panicking, especially when Jessica hints she knows those break-ins weren't just a series of unfortunate events.
We should probably get a move on before we lose sunlight. It'll be a lot harder to climb down.
Yeah, we should make sure our rooms weren't broken into.
The manipulator all of a sudden finds herself under suspicion. It's yet another great shift halfway through the film. Canadian actress Cassandra No, who is absolutely incredible as CW, came up with a private backstory for the character and focused on her physicality. She had to learn a lot of skills and overcome a lot of fear.
The biggest thing for me was CW's physicality. I had never driven a motorcycle before, and there are a lot of motorcycle tracks. I had a fear of swimming.
And don't even think about pitying her for her birthmark. She did a whole TEDx talk about
birthmark. There we go. Thank you. I had no reason to pity her. I was more so curious on just what it was. Thank you, James A. Janice of Dead Meat.
How it's never stopped her. Now fully suspicious of CW, Jess makes her exit when they're out that night and flees the bar in a taxi cab. CW finds it waiting for her back at the house and pays the driver to leave, giving her ample time to be the murder Amazon woman she looks like right now. God damn! She corners Jessica wheeling her luggage out, and the pleasant facade between them melts away quickly.
Did I do something?
Look, I don't want to get into it.
Into what?
I just think I would feel better in my own space.
Sarah Canning is great as Jessica, especially as a contrast to Madison. She's a more experienced entrepreneur in the social media world and has a much more confident, direct attitude. It's great to see this clash against CW, who had a much easier time taking advantage of how lonely and lost Madison was. Instead of laughing off uncomfortable moments, Jessica confronts them outright.
I've been weirded out since the night we met, but I don't know, maybe I should have just known. You're fucking creepy.
Maybe that confidence comes from having previously played an influencer in Superhost, which was produced by Curtis David Harder. Canning says it definitely did not come from personal experience with social media.
I had to watch videos of how people pose. Like, I don't understand any of it.
C-Dubs realizes the gig is up and slams Jessica into the wall until she's scream crawling away. She taunts her injured victim, calling her entitled as she casually follows her to the pool. Then she chokes the spirit out of Jessica with hands and cutting remarks.
They won't even notice you're
gone.
CW puts her heel up to Jessica's
Oh,
throat
no.
and gives her a mighty stomp.
Oh.
That's a wrap on another influencer. All that's left is to tidy up.
That was
This
the
isn't the
false
first
body.
time that Sarah Canning's been on the kill count. She was that producer in the Banana Splits movie who was forced to get sloppy. CW manages to clean up her mess before Ryan gets back, but the dude's still making things messy for her, like including her in pictures he posts online. Taking care of him will call for another shift in tactics. So the next morning, Ryan wakes up to a
Boom,
peacemaking
boom, boom.
breakfast spread. CW says that Jessica left that morning, so it's just the two of them now. And he doesn't need to keep worrying about Madison, because according to her latest post, she's found a new man. Fabulous! It leaves him vulnerable when CW starts flirting with him.
Damn it, no.
In her own special way.
Dude, you gotta stop being such a little bitch.
She takes him out to dinner where he can only talk about mindless influencer dribble. He says CW could do well and gain a lot of followers quickly.
You're unique.
Okay.
People are all about that these days.
He even offers to manage her,
Well, he's
knowing
not
that
wrong.
she's already managing her own plans. She slips a roofie into his drink and prepares to take full advantage
Oh,
of him
great.
in his altered state. They get back and CW lays a drugged out Ryan onto the bed. The way it's shot and the heavy score by composer Avery Kentis underlines how sick all this is.
Madison.
With Ryan incapacitated, CW unlocks his phone and deletes the online evidence of her existence. Then she makes it look like they've had sex. She doesn't actually rape him, but when he wakes up, he sees a used-looking condom she strategically placed on the ground. Now
There's
steeped
nothing
in
in it, though.
guilt or shame or suspicion or all of the above, Ryan prepares to leave Thailand and CW behind. She watches him leave and then burns the evidence of her Madison makeover, including the passport she stole. A late-in-the-game
Damn it.
flashback shows us when a much younger Ryan first met Madison.
Oh,
He
hey.
was less confident and brash, while she seemed more content and down to earth. And then it
Aw.
happened. The suggestion that would eventually lead them both to the present.
You know, if you took that photo, use a couple of proper hashtags, I think you could tap into a pretty huge following.
Damn,
Most
that
likely.
kind of fucked up both their lives. I love how much Influencer subverts expectations and the standard movie structure. It manages to jump between characters without feeling disjointed, and always keeps the audience guessing. Director Harder wanted to maintain that suspense, so much so that he cut the movie's trailer himself to make sure its twists weren't spoiled. The memory of meeting Madison
Oh, yeah?
is what makes Ryan refuse to give up. He tracks down the hotel she was staying at and winds up talking to that British barfly.
Good lord, young man. Who broke your heart?
The guy says he remembers Madison at the hotel with CW, but she hasn't been there since, despite what a recent post suggests. The weather in that picture doesn't even match the rainstorms they've been having. Ryan realizes that outside of texts and short calls, no one's talked to Madison in weeks. And there's
Yes,
something
Ryan.
weird about one of the videos she posted. Got some kind of, artifacting going on. Except that ain't no artifacting. It's CW's birthmark breaking through the deepfake. Invigorated, Ryan
Yes.
heads back to the house and finds it seeming
Ryan, you have been redeemed from the asshole to anti-hero. There you go.
deserted. Not even a badass long shot shows a single other person stirring. That changes when he hears CW get home. He's able to get the jump on her and knock her out. Wow, didn't see that coming. And I guess neither did she. She wakes up tied to a chair. Ryan's figured out her game and wonders if she does it out of loneliness.
You have to use my girlfriend's account so that you can feel what? Liked.
At knife point, he asks her where Madison is, and she agrees to take him to her. It's just down this dock in the middle of the night. Don't even worry about it, bro. Obviously, it's a trap, and Ryan finds
Damn
himself
it.
underwater with a very scary lady. She clings to his back like a killer koala and chokes the air out of him. It doesn't take long before his life is strangled away, and he joins the count in a beautiful underwater shot.
All right,
CW
scratch what I
resurfaces
said.
and fishes his body out onto the boat. Then she makes a post from Maddie's account alleging that Ryan's an abuser. It gets the guy post-mortem canceled, an example of CW knowing how to weaponize internet culture to cover up her tracks. I love seeing Ryan and Madison's friend Jay being two-faced and following the trend.
I just want to say that I always knew Ryan was a predator. I never trusted him.
He's another vapid member of the influencer world, since
Damn it.
earlier we saw him firmly on Ryan's side.
You can do a whole lot better than Madison.
All CW's got to do now is dispose of the body, so it's back to the island she goes. Gonna feed it to the smoke monster. When she gets there, she's surprised to find signs of life. Looks like some extra tally marks have been made. Someone's been there 38 days. One more and they'll win Old School Survivor. CW arms herself to hunt for the social media idol, but doesn't find anything before getting blindsided with
Surprise,
a meeting
bitch!
stick. Madison knocks her unconscious and makes her way to the beach where she finds CW's boat and Ryan's body. Probably got a lot of mixed feelings about that. By the time CW wakes up, it's too late. The boat has left the shore. All she can do is laugh in disbelief as the movie ends with Madison sailing away. And no, I don't think the final shot that lasts all through the credits is supposed to imply she's not gonna make it back. They established that they had to cross a lot of water to get there. She's got a long ride.
So this movie literally only has 2 kills, and that's it. That's gonna be like the lowest kill count ever. Like, I honestly can't think of a movie that doesn't even have 1 kill. Like, no, legit, I got nothing.
Ahead of her, that's all. How many bodies stacked up on account of 1 killfluencer? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
What the hell?
Let's find out and get to the numbers. Let's find out and get to the numbers. Let's find out and get to the...
Let me guess, Papa James? No, Zoran! Zoran! No! How could you? I love it when they do these little bits. It's
Only
hilarious.
2 people died in Influencer, 1 guy and 1 gal, tying it for the lowest number in kill count history alongside 8 other movies, the quality of which ranged from The Shining to Jaws the Revenge. With a modest runtime of 92 minutes, Influencer had a kill on average every 46 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Jessica. The act itself happens off screen, but it still makes you wince with the way it's shot. I mean, that heel pressing into her neck is enough to do that alone. Dog Machete for lamest kill will go to Ryan by default. It wasn't bad, and it was definitely shot well, but damn dude, you should have known better than to let yourself get tackled off that dock. And that's it. Influencer came out in 2023 and was nominated for 2 Prime Ribs at our Horror Awards, Best Villain for CW and Best Original Picture. I hope people enjoyed as much as I did. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
Alright everyone, well before we see what's going to be on the menu for next week, let me go ahead and give my own tidbits for what I thought of this. Influencer from 2023. Not too bad of a movie. A bit lacking in kills, but then again, I don't think it's meant to be, well, a movie about kills. More so the way it's done or something like that to agree. Either way, like James said at the beginning, if you want to check it out, I would recommend it. Like he said, it should be available on Shudder, and if it's not there, use Google to try and find it. So either way, let's see what will be on the menu for next week.
Next kill count.
In 1977, on Halloween night,
Halloween. Ooh.
Jack Delroy hosted the final episode of his late-night talk show Night Owls.
This show is, and it always has been, for you.
The episode featured Halloween pranks,
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
psychics receiving collect calls,
Please, who will accept?
and a live demonic summoning guaranteed to make anyone's head spin.
I get that joke. Got it? I got it. Just got it.
We can assure you, what happened that night wasn't a joke.
Don't be upset. I'm just ribbing you.
Late Night with the Devil is a unique take on found footage, with a memorable performance by David Dastmalchian.
What you're about to see is profoundly disturbing and shocking.
Moving in real time, the film pays tribute to late night legends as things spin out of control in a sinister way.
Something's not right.
If cozy 70s vibes are what you want, you couldn't do better than the indie horror hit Late Night with the Devil.
Jack Delroy interviewed that cock-fucking devil.
Watch it on Shudder this week.
Okay, that actually does seem like it will be a little interesting. So, next week we'll be seeing A Late Night with the Devil. Till then, everyone, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.